Hello, and another warm welcome to another Tuesdays at 2. Each Tuesday, I come on and talk about a different topic relating to executive career management. This is episode number 183 of Tuesdays at 2. So come on every Tuesday, 2 p.m., and listen to a different topic relating to executive career management. Today's topic is I want to relocate. Is that feasible? I want to relocate. Is that feasible? Yes, the world gets smaller, travel gets easier, and yes, it is feasible. But you have to work at it. It doesn't happen overnight. It's more complicated than a regular job search, and there's lots of parts of the jigsaw that really have to come into play before you even launch a job search in another country. So yes, it is feasible. I've worked with many clients who've relocated across the world. I'm global. I currently have clients in 27, 28 different countries. I'm relocating an American citizen from New Zealand to UK right now. I'm relocating somebody from Denmark to Singapore right now. And everybody in this on this planet wants to go to Dubai. So yeah, I would think if you have that and your ambition, I like ambition, but going to Dubai, if everybody else is doing it, is probably not a good idea right now because the competition is fierce and there's only a certain number of jobs in Dubai. Yeah, it's a great place to live, hot in the summer, coolish in the very nice and temperature in the winter, but everybody wants to go to Dubai. Two clients have already told me today that they would like to go to Dubai. So the first thing is really to sort this out. This is a huge uplift in not just your career, your personal career, but your family life. So you have to really discuss this with your spouse and your kids. You have to get buy-in. Don't just do it just for the sake of doing it because it's in your ambition. This is a huge move. It could be a culture shock to maybe your spouse and your kids, and you have to sort all that out. You have to bear that in mind. You have to bear all sorts of things like finances because it costs a lot of money to relocate unless you can get the employer at the other end to pay for your expenses. But that is very slim. I can tell you that it's not very often that employer, unless you have a very particular niche. If anybody's got any comments, any questions, not just relating to this topic today, but anything to do with career management, please put them in the comments and I will answer them as we go through this Tuesdays at 2. So yes, in essence, it is feasible, but you have to do a lot of due diligence and a lot of dialogue, a lot of talking first, and a lot of thinking about, well, is this to my advantage? Is it to my family's advantage and all sorts of things? So that's a huge part of the jigsaw. Then you decide, well, which countries? I mean, there's lots of countries do you want to go to? I mean, there's some great countries where the standards of living are very high, and you might make a good financial benefit from going to those countries. But there are also countries where you probably won't make a financial benefit, but your spouse, you, and your kids will learn a lot about culture. It could be a very ingrained in your children's lives that you moved to another country and spent 3 or 4 years there. So you really have to do a lot of due diligence and a lot of conversation to get buy-in. Don't just jump. It's a huge decision. And then once you've decided on the country, then each country has their own visa regulations. So you have to go and decide, well, how can I get the visa from that particular country? And are you going to be also expat status? Could you be expat status? Do you fall into that where you won't pay any taxes here? There's various places for that. You need to really do a lot of due diligence on that. So which countries? And do they require a visa, a work permit? Can you get a visa yourself, or does the potential employer has to get a work visa for you? So there's lots of things. Administration also falls into it, not just conversation. So administration. Once you've decided, then on a particular country, then go for it. I say go for it, but it's not going to happen overnight. There are a lot of things you need to do before you can actually move there, unless you're willing to cut your ties totally with your home country and then move. That is a lot of risk, but other people have done it. If you've got a nice financial cushion, then perhaps you can do it. But it doesn't always happen that way, and you need to really think about all the benefits and the finances and the travel and what you're going to do with your house in your particular country where you live right now. So many things to think about. That jigsaw is huge. Lots of pieces to that jigsaw. So once you've decided that which country, then the advent of LinkedIn in the last 20 plus years or so has allowed you to, and the internet has allowed you to really seamlessly, easily connect with people in those particular countries that you select. I would suggest you don't pick up a load of countries. You pick one country, and you start connecting with people using LinkedIn, using your alumni at your business school. There might be some people who are already in that location, that country, and you might be able to connect with them because of being a member of an alumni. You're part of a club, and generally, they should be able to help you or should want to help you. Sadly, a lot of alumni don't want to help their fellow alumni, but they should because you're part of a club. So start connecting with people in that particular country. Then I would say go and visit that country. Maybe take your family with you to see if they are at home with the life, the daily life, the different culture probably in that particular country. But definitely don't just not do it without going there yourself. That is very, very important. Spend 2 or 3 weeks in that designated country, understand the culture, understand the job search, the processes, the business ethics. There's all sorts of different things. But while you're there, you can network. So those people that you've started to network with using LinkedIn and your alumni, now you can meet them for a cup of coffee, dinner, breakfast, or something else, a couple of pints or whatever. But you need to start networking within that environment and probe deep. Ask those people all sorts of different in questions on the negative side of living in that country as well as the positive, because you need to know an all around picture. It's no use you knowing the positive and totally ignoring the negative. You need to know the negative. Each country has its own negatives, and you need to understand those negatives and how you can conquer them, etc. So connect with people in the desired country and then make a visit. Actually physically visit that country. So there may be industry associations. You may be an industry association here in where you are, your home country right now, and there may be a similar industry association in that designated country. So see if you can go to visit that industry association. They'll welcome you with open arms, because you're in the engineering field, you're in the supply chain field, or whatever. And if there is a conference, if you can time your visit to when there is a conference within your own industry, then attend that conference. You can imagine that is like a, a gold bar of networking, being a conference. You can meet hundreds, if not thousands, of people at those conferences. So if there's an industry related conference or an executive a leadership conference in that particular country where you want to move, try and schedule your visit to synergize with that particular conference and whatever, because that is like a golden networking opportunity. You can't get better than that. And your next job is probably going to, in another country, is going to 95%, I bet, is going to come through you networking with people in your designating country. It's not going to come through your going online and going into those various job boards. Yes, some of those boards are global, but you have to be in that country specific part of that global job board. So I bet that history tells me it's not going to come through the job boards. It's going to come through networking. Executive recruiters, they can play a huge role in your career management, your recruitment in your home country. But if you decide to go to a new country, rule them out, because they can very rarely help you in a new country. Why? It's because their mandate from their clients hunting talent normally is very, very specific. The clients tell the executive recruiter that they want talent in that, they want talent put forward in that particular country, and that particular country only, not another country. So you have to have a minimum of 2 or 3 years experience in a new country before you can get on the radar of an executive recruiter. It's not nothing against you. It's just the process and the demands from the client at the other end. So make rule executive recruiters out and network within your industry, and select people on the internet. You might have companies you want to go and work for, or you might be able to transfer within your country. If you work for a global company, then that might be a lot easier. Sometimes it can be harder, but sometimes generally it's a lot easier, because they will facilitate a lot of that part of the administration. Those parts of the jigsaw for you will be put into place by your current employer. Also, it's very important to look at tax issues. Each country has their own taxation. Is it high? Is it low? Is it to your benefit to go there? It might not be to your benefit. So you need to look at taxation issues, and you need to go and see a tax lawyer in your home country. That is very, very important. Why? Because they can tie you up. They can help you um, either lower or eliminate taxes totally, depending on the circumstances. As many things come into play here, and each country is different, so I can't give you a professional opinion there. But they can either reduce your taxes in your home country dramatically, or they can eliminate those taxes for while you're away. But then when you come back, they can minimize it, because you don't want to be met with a 200,000 or 300,000 or whatever tax bill. That really destroys the value of going to do an international assignment, and you'll be heavily in debt for a long time. So go and see a tax lawyer. That's one of the best investments you're going to make if you are moving internationally. So executive recruiters won't want to know you. Then because you are in a competition in your home country. In a job search, you are already in a competition. But when you go to a new country, you are in a major competition, because you are fighting with the people who are already in that country, who already have a footprint in that country, already have a career in that country. And you need to make sure that you stand out from those people by having an extraordinary resume or CV, depending on where you're going to go. Some countries call it CVs, some countries call it resumes, but make sure that it's international, and make sure your resume is a 2024 and ATS friendly, goes through that ATS, because every country now has the ATS, applicant tracking system, that scanning machinery, and you need to make sure you have an extraordinary, sharp, to the point, wow factor resume or CV. And you also need to sharpen your edge by having a fully complete LinkedIn profile, not half complete, not third complete, not just like a skeleton, as I see so many times. The more text you put on LinkedIn, the more you will be found in your home country and in the country that you want to go and work in. So make sure you have a fully complete LinkedIn profile and a 2024 ATS friendly resume, CV. So that's about it. Anybody got any questions on international moves? I'm more than happy to answer any questions, not just on international moves, but general career management. So in essence, it is feasible, but there's a lot more components to that jigsaw to come into play. But you have to get buy-in. Don't just do it alone. You have to get buy-in for those people around you. If you're alone, you're single, then that's okay. But if you've got a family and if you've got aged parents as well, there's a lot of things you need to weigh in, think up in your mind. Well, can I get back to your home country fast if things take a turn for whatever? So you need to make sure that you have all that at the back of your mind, and you reduce the risk and you reduce your frustration, you reduce your concerns about looking after your family in your home country, or taking your family with you. And then, of course, there's schooling you need to look at for kids. International schools, there's international schools in most countries, but look at the schooling. Is it going to benefit them? Are they going to be able to, are they ahead of the pack now? Or are they are behind the pack because schools change across the world? So there's so many different parts of that jigsaw. I think somebody's come in with a question. Ricardo, will you make a video on jobs in international organizations, the UN? Sure. Yeah. So NGOs is a particular particular organization, a segment, and well, heavy in Europe, particularly Geneva or Switzerland. So yeah, I'm more than happy to shoot a video. They require more special resumes and CVs, but it is feasible. They're international organizations. They want international talent. So I will make a video on the next couple of weeks, 3 weeks or so, for going to an international NGO. That sort of wraps it up. If anybody's got any other questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. There's another one coming in. Max, how long should one expect from start process to finish relocation completed on average? Well, if it so that's a great question. There's a very open-ended question, Max. If it's your home country, it's going to take you a lot. It's going to be a lot easier, a lot faster. But it depends on supply and demand. If there is supply, there is a supply and there's a demand for your skill set, and I can tell you, I know your skill set. There is here in Canada, there's quite a demand for your skill set, and there is quite a demand for your skill set internationally right now. But for other people, it depends. So I can't give you an affirmative answer. Also, I'm going to be honest. You can get all the professional opinion, professional help from people like me, experts in executive career management. But luck comes into play. Being in the right place at the right time also comes into play. But you need to network here if you're looking for a job here in Canada, or if you're looking for a job elsewhere. Networking is going to bring you the best value, supported by an extraordinary ATS friendly 2024 format resume CV, and a very active, not just fully complete, but very active LinkedIn. So you need to be on LinkedIn all the time. You need to share, you need to comment, and you need to create content. This is your forum. This is your platform for free to market your talent across the world. So if you are and then join groups in those particular countries, LinkedIn has various groups. So if you're going to go from here to Switzerland, I've actually relocated quite a few people from Canada to Switzerland, or helped them in the last 2 or 3 years. If you want to go to Switzerland, then you join the Swiss groups on LinkedIn and you introduce yourself on LinkedIn and tell them your ambition and whatever. And every one of those people, the majority of them, are already in Switzerland, and they all have a network. So every person you network with has a network. So you look at it that way. It's like a big spider's web. But yeah, so you hopefully that answers your question, Max. Anybody got any other questions to do with executive career management generally? I'm more than happy to answer them. It's a great economy, recruitment worldwide right now. There is a shortage of talent in some countries more than others, especially here in Canada. Um, and but you have to constantly manage your careers. No point in just laying down and when you think you're happy in a job, you may be, but the termination could come any time now, and then you're left lurchless. You're left, and don't have a resume, you don't have a LinkedIn, and you're left stranded. So make sure you manage your career when you're gainfully employed and when you're in career transition. So if anybody's got any other comments, I'm more than happy to answer them. If not, it's a pleasure to share my knowledge this week on relocation internationally. I relocate people across the world. It's one of my specialties is mining. And of course, mining is huge. Mining is a global. So where I am here in Canada, it's the global head office of mining. But there's lots of Canadians who go to the continent of Africa. They go to certain parts of Asia. They go to South America, where all the big mining companies have operations. So mining is huge. I've got mining clients all over the world, all over the world. Some of them are Canadian, some of them are US, some of them are UK, some of them are French, but they relocate over the world, and they're not frightened to move over the world. It can be a big step to do internationally, so be prepared for that. You take a big deep breath and think about it real hard, and share it with your spouses, your spouse, and your family and other people who can maybe give you some ideas and their opinions. But it is feasible. I would encourage it because it's really good for career management. So you come back to your home country, and then an executive recruiter sees, or somebody else sees, that you worked in another international assignment. That is a plus. I can tell you that, because you can bring a lot to the table because you've learned about business ethics, business protocol, etc. in another country. So you need to, perhaps you've learned the language, or gone from basic to advanced, maybe even fluent, and in which case you need to put that on your resume. So international relocation is good for your career, but do your due diligence. So I will leave it at that. My next week is my lateral peer at the competition is earning more than me. How come? My lateral peer at the competition is earning more than me. How come? Happens a lot. I will tell you why. So join me next Tuesdays at 2. And meanwhile, do something this week to manage your career.